Okay, hi. Hi, everybody, and welcome to Hello, It's Best to Talk. So today we're going to be talking with, I'm so pleased to see Jackie Briggs here. Jackie's been, I've met her so far on a radio panel on River Radio, and was really impressed with her story and how she's helping parents and indeed families manage that transition where the parents learn that their child is gay. I know Jackie's got so much to tell us today, so thank you very much, Jackie, for coming on board. And for those of you who are watching this who don't know Jackie, she's involved with a charity called Families Together in London. But one of the benefits of the lockdown has been that actually she's been able to offer that, or the charity's been able to offer resources across the country through Zoom. So Jackie, please welcome, first of all, and please tell us a bit more about your story and what led you on your journey.
Okay, well, lovely to see you, Helen. We've met in person, but we've now met twice on this amazing social media platform. Right, so hello, everybody. Yes, my name is Jackie, and I am a parent of 2 children who are now in their middle age. Well, they wouldn't like me to say that, but I think they're coming towards that. They're in their mid to late 30s. I have a son who is 33 or coming up to 33, and he has been out since he was 12. And his story, which I can tell you about a little bit later, was very different from his sister, who is 37 and did not come out until her mid-20s. So going back a few years, quite a few years now, when my son was a teenager, I was very aware that he had a number of friends who parents weren't as supportive as my husband and I were of him. We didn't dwell on the fact that he told us he was gay. He was going through school, he was doing really well, and we just said to him that he should just sort of not worry about it, and sarah, whatever will be. And he had a lovely journey into manhood. Our daughter, on the other hand, who's 3 years older, was very reluctant to accept the fact that she was gay. I used it to cover the whole spectrum, really. And it wasn't until she was in her mid-20s that she realized that it's something she could keep hidden or fight against anymore. And that was the making of her. She then blossomed and is now, in fact, hopefully she will get married, because the registry offers she will get married, but whether they have the party or not, she's getting married at the end of July. And as we all know, things are very, very fluid at the moment. So I just want to backtrack. My son did get married 4 or 5 years ago. He met his husband when he went to university. So they've been married now for 4 or 5 years, but they've been together for about 15. So they've been together a lot. And my daughter met her partner down in Bristol, where she works, and they have been together for a few years, and they're getting married very shortly. Anyhow, going back to my connection with Families Together London, what happened was my son had a number of friends who were struggling with their families, and that's going back quite a way back now, really. And I think things are maybe not quite as difficult as they might have been then. But I said to him, I'd like to be able to help if I can. So he did a bit of research for me, and he came up with an organization that was called Families Together. I made contact with the lady that ran it, dear lady called Hatter, who sadly is no longer with us. And I met her, and she had, I think, a group of 3 sets of parents who were meeting in a church once a month to talk about the fact that they had LGBT children. So I went along, and as the years have progressed, we have blossomed, and we've now got a membership of about 150 sets of parents, and going very strong. We've got an extremely good website, which I'm sure you'll be able to have a look at later. I've got my banner at the back,
Thanks,
so you can see that. We raised that at Pride, but unfortunately Pride, well, maybe Pride will happen in September, I don't know, but we've been in Pride now for the last 10-15 years. We get a fantastic response, but basically yeah, it's become a very very sought after organization, and we're able to reach, because of the pandemic, we're doing everything on Zoom, and on the back of that, we're able to reach people who wouldn't necessarily be able to come to our live get-togethers. So we have three meetings a month.
Mm-hmm.
Two of them are for parents who have got LGB, lesbian, gay, bi children, and then we started it about a year ago. We call it FTL-T, and the T is for transgender.
Mm-hmm.
And that's got 25 sets of parents now who have got children who are either considering going through or have transitioned. And that's run by David. It's still very much part of our organisation, it's part of the same group, but it's run by David. And David himself he's a doctor. So he's very used to issues relating to medical or emotional, and he himself has got 2 trans children going in the opposite direction. So his daughter's his son, and his son is his daughter. He's a wonderful person to sort of keep that particular section of families together going. So yeah, we're very busy. The one thing I was concerned about was the fact that possibly with the pandemic and going to Zoom, we would lose that feeling of support, and we're very tactile when we meet in person, and a lot of love emanates from the room that we meet in. And it's quite incredible how the transition from meeting in person to actually going on Zoom, we haven't lost that feeling of love and support and togetherness. So it's worked really well. When we eventually do go back to meeting in person, we're going to continue with our Battersea meetings once a month, which is a lunchtime on a Saturday. And then the one that we were doing at King's Cross, we're now not going to meet there because there are too many people in the room that we had. We're going to continue with the Zoom. So post-pandemic, we are going to have Zoom for the people that can't get to us in person, and a physical meetup.
So, Jackie, that's fantastic for people, to know that support is out there. Yeah. And I'm realising that people might be watching this from across the globe.
Yep.
One of when we were on that radio program together, I remember hearing a really shocking statistic that it's estimated that 40% of the homeless people in the UK are LGBTQ+, and the reason for that being that their parents have thrown them out, or they've experienced so much disapproval, abuse from their family that they felt they needed to flee. So I would love you to talk about what maybe based on your own experience, but what do you think are the key things in terms of moving to acceptance? Because your child is your child. I mean, there's that part of you that has given birth to them. I'm speaking as a cis woman here, but they're so special. And so, but anyway, but tell us what are the key things that you think parents need to bear in mind and need to be thinking about once they've heard their child is gay or trans, indeed?
Yeah, well, I think it's quite a lot of parents are completely taken aback because they have got no, just because you're gay, and as a male gay, you don't have to be camp to be gay. I mean, my son is not camp, but he is a gay man. So very often, and also with the girls who see themselves as lesbian, they can be very pretty and girly. And so quite often when the child, I use the word child because we're talking about late teens, 20s, and even 30s. When your child comes out to you as gay, you can be completely floored by it because it's not what you're expecting. And it can be quite a shock. It can be quite a shock, and you're floundering. You don't quite know which way to turn. And in fact, because of the internet, that's one of the first things that people do. They sort of really get the computer up and running and start tapping away into the search engine. Oh, my child is gay. What shall I do? What shall I do? And then when they sort of calm down a little bit, put in the necessary words, support, help, and then sort of try and find some sort of support. It can be very very frightening because this is not, and it's not anticipated when you have your child that your child is going to be gay. So you just have to try and find a route that you can take that is going to allow you to move forward. So once the initial shock is gone, because it is a shock, it's not something that people are waiting to hear. They, suddenly it's presented very often.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt, but I'm just wondering whether people have kind of, parents that you've talked to suspected, or whether it really was a shock, whether it kind of came out of the blue, or I suppose it's different for everybody, isn't it, in terms of what happens?
Half and half, I would say. I think the clues can be the fact that maybe if you've got a daughter and she's not going out with anybody, boy, or she's getting very close, particularly close to her girlfriends, you can pick up on things. Sometimes there's no way of knowing until they actually say something to you, or they avert their eyes, not wanting to your child. Most parents know their children, or they avert their eyes. They don't want to get into conversation. They lock themselves in their room. They seem they seem low. It's a matter of trying to sort of create some sort of conversation. I know we had a lot of difficult. With my son, there was no issue at all. That was never a problem. But with my daughter, it was very, very difficult because she did not want to engage in conversation, and there were the silences, and we had feelings something was going on, but you can't force the issue, and you can't confront them. Confrontational way of dealing with something is it completely will go in the other direction. You have to choose your moments when.
And would you say, sorry to interrupt you again, but would you say, Jackie, that it's best very much to wait for your child, your young person, to tell you, rather than, so you said confrontation is out, and that just sounds so right, but wait for them to tell you rather than try to force it and say something rather bleak, like well just very blunt, like, well, are you gay or are you not gay?
That really is not the way to go. You have to choose your moment and say at the right moment. Maybe you're doing something in the house, maybe you're doing a bit of shopping in the street or something, or just say, there's something bothering you. Is there something bothering you? Right. There's something not right. You're something you're not telling me. I'm here for you. I'm your mum. I'm here for you. When you want to talk, talk. Let's talk. Very often these conversations take place in the open air, and face to face, walking side by side, which is a much better way of addressing a situation.
That's so interesting. I remember talking years ago to the director of Childline, and she said that many children tell their parents things when they're on a journey. We're talking about littler children now, and I certainly experienced that with my kids, who, you know, every one of them, they've got 3 children, each one of them, when they were little, had that conversation about where babies come from when they're in the back of the car.
Yeah.
Once being stuck on the Chiswick flyover, being late to school, and my older daughter Unity saying, "So, Mummy, where do babies come from?" And I was thinking, "Oh, not now." You know, I had a completely different notion about when that conversation is going to happen. Yeah. I think because eye contact can be quite challenging, can't it? If you're looking straight face to face with somebody, and we're all experiencing that on Zoom, that actually it's a bit uncomfortable, but it's weird, you know, that too much eye contact. So going for a walk, that sounds like a great tip.
You have to gauge the mood of your child. You just have to try and gauge when it's right for them and for you. And it's quite often a child will come out when they've maybe had a drink or two, because remember, a lot of our children come out when they're in their late teens, 20s. Yeah. And the other thing is, there's a terrible feeling of guilt from the parents that, you know, their child for a number of years, quite a number of years, especially the trans children, have known since they were really little that they weren't in the right place. And guilt that parents have, that when they come to us, a tremendous amount of guilt that they didn't pick up on it. But you can't pick up on everything. Right. You know, if a child is in a bad place, a not happy place, it could be any manner of things. It could be just general bullying at school. It could be they can't keep up with the work. They you know, it could be a lot of things. And, you know, it's just a matter of finding that moment when you can just sort of say what's bothering you. And it's your tone as well, not what's bothering you. Yeah. Come on, spit it out. It's not going to work.
Gentleness, is that?
Yeah, very gentle. Teasing it out. And the other thing is, you'll find out as you know, as things progress, once they've come out, and then we get parents that come to us, you know, at the beginning of the journey, and they come to us, and then, you know, they feel cool about everything after they've sorted it out. It's all fine. They find the child's LGBT, whatever. Yeah, I'm okay about that now. And they don't come for 6 months, and suddenly they pop back again. Oh my God, my child's in a relationship. It's gone to that next level, and they pop back again, because there's a whole series of time, you know.
Yeah, well, when things move on, don't they? Then, you know, you find challenging. So gentleness is important. I think a key in all of this is acceptance, isn't it? That we just accept our children for who they are, not what we might have expected them to be or thought they should be. Ban those words: should, must, ought to, and accept them for who they are, and love them for who they are. I suppose that's the other thing. So important that they know that we love them for who they are.
But a lot of the children don't see it like that. They feel they've let the side down. They've let their parents down. They feel ashamed that they've let their parents down. There's a tremendous, and they've carried that. A lot of these young people, they carry a burden. They call it's like a burden, and they can't lift that burden, and so it basically it can devastate all the things that they want to do, because unless you accept who you are, I'm a straight woman, unless you accept who you are sexually, you are not able to fulfill your dreams, because you've got this, it's holding you back, because you can't be who you truly are. I've met a number of people now who are in their 60s and 70s, who, when they were growing up, they knew they were LGBT, but in those days they couldn't come out, and so they had to live a closet life, and and once their parents had died, they then felt that they could come out because they weren't able to tell their parents.
Yeah.
Terrible.
It is a terrible thing. And of course it happened to my mother as well, that she
Yeah.
kept the secret of, we've talked about this before, Jackie, but you know, but my mother kept the secret that she was gay throughout the 59 years that she was married to my dad, and we only found out after she died. So for me, I'm feeling I'm a bit on a mission now to really free things up, you know, and get people to talk about who it is they are, that they're accepted and loved for who they are. I'm kind of hoping that we won't need to have this sort of conversation in 10 years time, but maybe we will. There's a lot of kind of accumulated shame and guilt over the years, isn't there, that's built up, and it feels to me like we're in a time when we're clearing it through, and we're talking about things which haven't been talked about for decades sometimes.
I think that we've got now a lot of BAME parents coming to us now, and the reason that they're coming to us is because their children have had the confidence to come out to them because of the way that they live their lives, and it's been a shock to the BAME community, and a lot of parents, because of religious and family beliefs, they can't embrace their child's sexuality, and they're fearful for their safety, because sadly there are some atrocious things happening in the world against LGBT, especially in the Afro-Caribbean as well. There's a lot of religious hatred against gay people, and so these children come out to their parents, and they are in a terrible, they have a terrible dilemma, because they love their child, but then, you know, their church, their family, their friends, their work colleagues, no, you know, it's like, okay, gay is fine, but not on my doorstep. You know, it's like it's a really, it goes on elsewhere, but it doesn't happen here. But it's actually happening. It's now happening here.
Yeah.
And so it's a hard one.
Yeah, it really is, isn't it? So, okay, so in summary, then you offer a support to all parents and grandparents.
Yeah,
and
siblings.
And
because you'll find that some siblings can't accept that their brother/sister is LGBT.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. So and you know, yeah, and or even curious and questioning, because it feels like, you know, we've lived in a very binary world, haven't we, of gay or not gay, or, you know, straight or not straight, whereas actually we're almost in a kind of new sexual revolution, it feels at the moment, that people are curious and trying something and falling in love with people who may be one sex or another. So we're in much more fluid times.
Yeah. And that's another thing. There's a lot of experimentation goes on now. I mean, there was the swinging sixes and flower power, and so we're now at this particular sexual freedom. You know, sort of, you can suddenly fall in love with somebody. Doesn't mean to say you're bisexual if it's a, you know, if it's something sex.
It might also be that you're bi. I think that, yeah,
it might be, but it might just be people experiment a lot more now, because people have got that freedom to be able to express themselves the way they want to. So, you know, there's a lot goes on behind closed doors.
Jackie, that's so helpful, and I hope it's helped all of you who are listening in, you know, if you've got queries. And so how can people find your organization? We'll put a link on the YouTube channel. So, but it's Families Together London, and you offer a service right across the UK. Yeah.
Yeah, and we've got 2 helplines, and we've got an email, and there's a lot of information on the website. It's very easy to navigate our website, and there's always someone to take a call, and you'll get a response within 24 hours if the phone's not picked up. Just send an email and someone will respond.
That's great.
And, yeah.
That's lovely, Jackie.
That's
Thank
okay.
you so much. We're very, very grateful for you being on Hello, It's Better to Talk, and look forward to seeing you all next week at 12 o'clock on Wednesday. So Jackie, things, and thank you so much.
Pleasure.
And we'll be in touch. Okay, thank you. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.